something very strange is happening. Because, so let me give you like why Epstein is so like being talked about right now.
Yeah.
You had once upon a time Trump saying, I'm going to release the Epstein files and I'm going to release JFK files. And I'm going to be the guy who goes into the government and for the people and give you all the information. And then something very strange happened. Elon Musk and Trump broke up.
That was a long time ago.
But what happened, that was like a couple months ago max.
Okay.
I don't remember. Time flies. I don't remember when it was.
Yeah.
But you remember what Elon tweeted when they broke up?
Oh, yeah. He's the one who exposed them. He's like, oh, Trump is on the list. That's why it's not coming out.
Trump is in the Epstein files. He didn't say that's why it's coming out. This was before Trump said, I'm not bringing it out.
No way.
Yeah. So he deleted that and he apologized to Trump and all of that crap.
You think he was forced to apologize?
Yeah, I think he was impulsive. It's just not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You always back channel these kinds of things usually, right?
He is a little bit of an impulsive guy with his.
Oh, Twitter. Yeah. That's very true.
I didn't want to do that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
See, you're not impulsive. See, because he didn't fully carry out the motion.
Yes, I don't do that.
So Trump, now he's saying don't release it. He has his AG, Attorney General Pam Bondi. His Pam Bondi basically said, look, there's no client list. There's no conspiracy. He didn't himself. You have to remember that Trump, he rode to the top based on like conspiracy and like the deep state and this idea that there's like a pedophile cabal. And lots of Trump's followers are like those people like, don't believe the mainstream. They're child predators. They're Satanists that run the government. And so a big contingent of Trump's base is in fury because they're like, this is clear. Like usually when Trump flips on a position, his followers are loyal.
Yeah.
Like we'll follow you into hell and heaven.
Yeah.
Right? Not this time. Actually, not this time. Some of them are directing their anger at the Attorney General Pam Bondi. They're saying, she's the one who's basically like trying to like cover this up.
Okay.
They always don't like to blame Trump. They always like to blame his henchmen, even though it's on Trump's orders. So Trump wrote this big post on Truth Social where he's defending Pam Bondi. She's doing a good job and stop attacking her. And he tells his supporters who are upset about the Epstein files thing not being released and his claims that there's no client list. He's like, you're babies. I don't want your support anymore. Screw you. You're disloyal.
He's like the guy that got rejected. He's like, I didn't even want you anyways.
Yeah. He's like, we don't need you. Even though, like, trust me, like his base is in rebellion. Scott Greer, he's a right-wing pundit. He wrote this great blog post where he explains how one of the important views of the Trumpist worldview, and I'm not talking about Trump himself, I'm talking about Trump's followers, is that there's this pedophile cabal that runs the world, right? And they talk like the Balenciaga thing, or now with Epstein. All of these things, they form a very important part of especially the right-wing worldview, the alt-right-wing worldview. Yeah. So when Trump comes out and says this, that there's no client list.
It goes against kind of like the whole narrative, right?
Yeah, it's like sacrilege.
Yeah.
It's like you're denying their aqeedah. This is
pillar.
It's a pillar of their iman.
Yeah.
It's blasphemy.
Yeah.
One of their kufriyat, you can say.
Yeah.
So for our viewers who don't know, you want me to give like a quick rundown of Epstein?
Let's do it.
So Epstein, once upon a time, I think he graduated in math. He became a private school teacher at a very upscale private school. From there, he made connections, became a hedge fund guy. Okay. Became a billionaire.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he starts basically sex trafficking girls to his New York home in upstate New York. He gets caught in the late 2000s. And then he gets a slap on the wrist. Even though he's trafficked so many minors, he brings minors into his house. He comes out in a towel.
That's crazy.
He molests them after that.
Yeah, that was obvious. But
this and then but here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. The kicker is after he abuses these girls, he gets them to go recruit other girls to get abused again, and he pays them lots of money.
Yeah.
So he was caught. He got slapped on the wrist, like 18 months in jail, and he only did jail in the evenings, and he came out during the day. Like it was ridiculous, man.
Like a resort.
It was like everything was in his favor.
Yeah.
That's when he bought his private islands because he's like, I want to keep doing this, but I have to do it away from the public eye.
Yeah.
Okay. So he does that for like under 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets arrested again, caught again, and then we know he himself or perhaps he didn't, right? So they released some of the footage now, and some of it is missing, some of it's edited. So, the reality of the Epstein thing, look, I wouldn't be surprised if there definitely was a client list. Like, I don't know if I have a strong opinion one way or the other. All of the evidence and the indications point to yes, Epstein did play a role with bringing high value people and getting them sexual favors.
Yeah, I mean, we know this. We know this.
Blackmailing. Yeah.
The question is now, is Mossad involved in the blackmailing? Is Epstein was he
Israeli
working?
intelligent asset?
Yeah.
Has that been used to kind of blackmail U.S. politicians and stuff like that?
100%. And that adds to the question, maybe this is a bigger question in terms of geopolitics, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the whole deal with, because if they have something against Trump and Trump is not releasing it and it's connected to Israel in some way, you know what I mean? There's a lot of lines here.
So yeah, like here's the thing which you have to understand, and it makes sense if you think about power. Are you familiar with like secret societies?
Yeah.
Freemasons.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones. That's a Yale secret society.
Okay.
Every year they take 10 seniors from Yale handpicked.
It's like a frat. It's like a fraternity or something.
It's like that on steroids.
Oh.
They have like these weird rituals, and you basically become loyal to this group of highly connected elites, and you get like lots of directors of CIA and high-ranking members of CIA come from Skull and Bones. Actually, in 2004, Bush versus Kerry, that was the presidential election.
Yeah.
Both of them were Skull and Bones.
What?
Yeah, and that was you can find actually an interview. A news anchor asks both Kerry and Bush, like, you and Bush are Skull and Bones. What does that mean for America?
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322. You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim.
And they just totally like ignore the question.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? That's interesting.
And if you read the rituals of Skull and Bones, like what these people are doing, like part of it is you lie naked in a coffin and you confess everything, all of your secrets, your sexual secrets.
That's like shaitani stuff.
Chanting, yalla, shaitani stuff, bro. Like the point of it, I had like 3 hours of ChatGPT discussion.
No way.
Like the point of it is to get rid of your ego so that you become totally loyal to the Skull and Bones. And so when you graduate from Yale and you go out into the world, because their ideology, they don't have one specific ideology except for the fact that the strong, the elite, we should rule the world. Like we need democracy might be necessary to make the people feel like they have something, but we are the stewards. We are the people who have to run the show, and it's our noble obligation, sort of thing.
Well, sounding like they sold their soul. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it's not like conspiracy theory. It's actually this is really like real. Shaitani stuff. Because a lot of times, like Freemason and stuff, we think, is it actually like, all this kind of stuff, or is it just like a fraternity or like a group of people that are not like a network of?
It is a network. See, like the basic theory or principle that these secret societies function off of is the idea of a network. You have like a closed group of individuals that see themselves as the in-group. You know, Skull and Bones, they call everybody who's not a bonesman, that's like the member of Skull and Bones. People who are not bonesmen, you know what the word they use? Barbarians. So people who are in the out group. And so the idea is network effect. You as a bonesman, you always hire fellow bonesmen. You're loyal to fellow bonesmen.
Yeah.
So imagine you have a society where like you have every man for himself, but then you have the secret society that forms. And they help each other always. Who's going to rise to the top? That secret society, right?
They're organized. They're supporting each other. They're, you know what? This reminds me of something. I when people say cult, you know, like this sounds like a cult, right?
It is.
But a lot of people call this, call that, call this, call that. But now you think about it, any kind of organized work is considered a cult.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, what makes things cultish is like if it's hidden, if it's not up for debate, if it's like you're not allowed to think. It's just and this has all of those characteristics, by the way.
Yeah.
And many of the elites of our society. By the way, you can look up like they used to publish the members of Bones, Skull and Bones every year until 1980s, I think. Okay. But people still kind of know who they are.
Okay.
But anyway, one of the things that I wanted to link this with Epstein is another concept called compromat, which is that like, look, if you want someone to be in a position of power, who do you prefer? Someone who you can control because you have something against them, or someone who just like has nothing against them, just like a clean person. Someone might wonder, like, well, hold on, it's kind of like conspiracy-esque. Like, why would all the elites be these like satanic files or whatever. It's not that I'm saying that they all are, but
Yeah.
but like there's good reason to think that people in elites in these societies are messed up, because you wouldn't be allowed in those positions of power except if you were messed up. Because now that you're messed up, you're under control.
Yes.
The second you veer off the reservation, we can just release
You're
whatever.
you're vulnerable.
Yeah, we can release whatever we have on you.
Yeah, yeah.
And perhaps people like Jeffrey Epstein played a role in creating that compromat, right?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
And like the people who you kind of have to go through his island to become inducted into the halls of the elites, sort of
I don't
thing.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the extent to which that's the case with Epstein and so on, like the details are, I don't know if we'll ever know them, but definitely like this is how power works in general.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in tyrannical regimes, in closed regimes, like the United States is, by the way. It's not like some free and fair open democracy that people think it is. It is ever since the big dynasties like the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies,
The oligarchs.
the oligarchs, the oil oligarchs, really.
Yeah. The wealthy.
Yeah. They basically got lots of money and they started executing their agenda. Bilderberg, Trilateral Commission. These are kind of, and CFR too, Council on Foreign
You're saying a lot of
Relations.
things here. You're saying a lot of words.
Yeah.
We have no idea
trust
what
me,
you're talking about.
I spoke to a lot. The people who know.
Okay.
These are documented organizations that are invite only
Yeah.
for elites who
Yeah.
come from specific lineages or are chosen for their merits and trusted. Lots of this, by the way, is about lineage,
Okay.
especially Skull and Bones. Ever since human society first existed, power has always had something to do with lineage, your bloodline.
Yeah.
And people think that, okay, we would live in a meritocracy now. I know we kind of totally veered off of Jeffrey Epstein, but I think this is
No,
interesting.
but you mentioned two good points here. Like, I mean, first of all, democracy, okay, you're saying it's a facade, right? So what is it that, like, there's a deep state run by these people, by these oligarchs?
Yeah.
And we have this two parties, basically. It's technically two parties,
Yeah.
right? We don't have any other parties you vote for. It doesn't even do any kind of like damage. You have, so basically it's kind of like a what do you call it? I said facade, but there's another word for it.
Illusion, stage play, theater.
Yeah.
It's not. Look, it partly is that. A lot of it is that.
Yeah.
So when people first start to learn how power works, they're tempted to say, well, okay, like the whole elections and the president office and all that, it's all just fake.
Yeah.
It's not quite like that. It's just its power is not what you think it is.
Right.
What the power of the presidency and elected office is that these are the people who have symbolic power, and symbolic power is power.
It's still power,
Because
but
at
it's
the end of the
within
day-
it's within the realm that they have, like, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Within the box that they made.
Because
And-
these people in the deep state, they have levers by which they can pull and push to remove you from power if they want to.
Right.
Scandal, pressure, blackmail, legal troubles. Like they could protect Trump from his trials, or they could make sure the trials, get him out of office. Like it's at the end of the day, there's gatekeepers in society.
Yeah.
Right. And people have to understand that.
That makes sense. And the other thing that you mentioned as well is about the lineage, which is really like, if you actually think about it, what would make people want to preserve their lineage and invest in their lineage? Like, what's so special about your own people?
Like why do these people set up funds for their kids?
Bro,
and-
why do you, once you're dead,
Yeah, what do you
why
care?
do you care about your beat grandson that doesn't give a, doesn't care about you, basically? Like, he could turn out, like, imagine you have somebody down the line. I know in Islam, we obviously preserving the lineage is really important.
Yeah. But that comes from an Islamic perspective.
100%.
Like these people who don't believe in an afterlife and they think we're just going to be dust. Why do they care about lineage? That's the question, right?
Bro, let me just put something into perspective for you. Imagine, our parents. A lot of people can relate to this. Our parents come from back home, and they come to the West and they go through hell,
Yeah.
Trying to work hard and build this life for us. And then the kids will go and they'll be like, some kids cussing their parents off, some kids going away. They don't even treat their parents right. You did all that just for your kids. Like, imagine you didn't do it for the sake of Allah.
Yeah. It's
This
a
is-
way.
it's a
If you
slap,
like a waste,
dude.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now imagine these guys investing in their lineage because they're like, I guess, white supremacy or whatever they believe.
It's not about these big families.
Yeah.
Like it was back at a time when America was white and they weren't worried about not becoming white.
Okay.
So whenever people get rich and they feel like they won at the world, they think about their legacy. How are they going to be remembered? How is their impact going to remain? And so they kind of hope that their children will continue their legacy, their agenda, how they want the world to be. You're going to carry my name. And there's this concept that like you have two deaths. One is when you actually die, and one is when somebody says your name for the last time. So as we keep saying Rockefeller, because there's Rockefellers today that are powerful.
Yeah.
There's Rothschilds today that are powerful.
Yeah.
So that keeps their legacy alive, and it's not rational from their perspective because you're dead. What do you care?
It's so arrogant that after you're dead and you mean nothing, you still care about what happens with your name. You're dead. You're like you need to worry about what's gonna happen in your akhirah right now. Like right now, you're on a different ship. Like right now, you're in the barzakh.
In all my research on Skull and Bones, one of their chants that they greet each other with, like when they enter into a room.
Salam.
No. They have this poetic verse. Yeah. I forget the beginning of it, but the end of it says, "King or peasant, we all go back to the same grave," or something like this. Like
that sounds a little humble.
Yeah, but see, like there's false. Like I said, they do that ego death so that you can become loyal to the order. So there's.
It's not about you anymore. You take yourself out of the picture. It's about
the whole ceremony and ritual is about psychological subordination to this elite network, so you become trusted. You feel like you have to keep the secrets of the order because the order now has your secrets.
Ooh. Yeah. That's a good one.
That's true. That's why they make you do confessions, and that's why like they create those.
That's how they have control. That's how they have leverage. That's interesting.
They want to know like everything about you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So just like the main takeaway is don't give up your secrets. Like,
well, I mean, the main takeaway is like we have to not be naive about how power works.
Yeah.
A lot of this does sound sometimes conspiratorial, but like you can look up everything I talked about. I've not talked about anything that's not like confirmed.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense from kind of a network perspective, like we spoke about. We would expect organizations that function in such a way to be able to seize power in specific contexts.
Yeah.
Network effects, really, whether they're cultish or not, like whether they're Freemasons and Skull and Bones, or whether they're just like Catholics. Catholics are an organization, right? There's trust between Catholics, and they might hire each other. Like they have a pope that they all look up to, and so like there's a network effects.
100%.
But whether they see themselves as a network is a different story.
Right. Oh, I just want to one last point on this, and I mentioned this earlier. I think we skipped through it, but when it comes to religion, when it comes to our deen, Islam specifically, a lot of people like to call it cultish and stuff like that, especially when you're working together as a group, right? Yeah. The problem is now when you see these groups that are obviously on the wrong path, that are doing things for the wrong reasons, the cultish label, it fits with them, right? But it is leading to their material progress and success.
Gaining power.
They're gaining power, exactly. They're doing things. They're developing. They're having an impact on a world scale, like on a global scale. So now when it comes to Islam, we also need to know our Islam it's not like the collective is a voluntary thing. It's actually an obligation. Collective, being collective. Everything is in jama'ah, even eating together. So something like cultural, like we all eat together and all. But the collective is very important. So now when we try to work together and organize and unite and support each other, I'll buy from a Muslim, I'll sell to a Muslim, I'll hire a Muslim, I'll, work for a Muslim, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we try to do that, you get some people on the sideline basically calling it cultish. So now, how do we, you know what I mean?
Well, that's because that's not a surprise. People have been conditioned to be averse to Islamic organization. And that's because the regimes in the Muslim world don't want Muslims to organize, don't want Muslims to be activists, don't want Muslims to, because they're afraid for they're afraid for revolution, right? Because that's how power works, that's how success works. So if you're able to keep people individualized and not able to organize, well, one of the ways you can do that is by getting the scholars to say that this is not Islamic, by creating a perception that these groups are dangerous or these groups are cultish or whatever it is.
That label cultish is like it literally kills like anything because it has negative connotations.
But what's different between us or between Muslims and Islam and what the Prophet ﷺ did and between secret societies is the word secret, right? Like cults are secretive, right? Muslims should not be secretive. Like when we work together, we come to work together for Islamic revival and the renewal of Islamic civilization. There's no reason to be secretive about what we're about, what we're saying, right? Like here, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Anywhere I come, I talk about, what we're trying to build, our vision, Sharia, unity. Khilafah,
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
we're open about our message.
Yeah.
It's secret societies who kind of show you one face and then they start chanting with torches and, and lying in graves when they're together and stuff like that.
You know
and then like how, remember when Alex Jones went to Bohemian Grove?
No, what happened there?
There's a cult ritual that they perform called the cremation of care.
Yeah.
Where like they burn an effigy of a body. Apparently it used to be a real body, but now they just burn an effigy. So like they burn it in front of this huge owl statue and they chant things and stuff like that. So he snuck in. And,
super shirky stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, like that's like secretive behavior and cultish behavior. But anyway, yeah, like Muslims need to understand that's actually how the Khilafah was destroyed. The Young Turks, I don't know if they were a secret society, but they were a society, they were a network, they were a movement that was able to kind of insert itself into Turkish society, Turkish elites. Abdul Hamid was surrounded by these people he couldn't trust, and the knots of our civilization were undone one by one by them.
And he became a symbolic, basically, power.
Like, well, he was ejected, right?
Yeah.
And then the Khulafa after him were symbolic.